Hey folks, Dave here with Dave Does It, and back on tetanus a little bit here. So if you saw my last video, you know the caster idea did not work because them were rubber bushings in the cradle, but it's kind of hard to see, but she is hanging. I just very roughly plasma cut some holes and a couple of pieces of cut up scrap metal, and I used the same 3/4 inch all thread. And I do have new plates here. I can't cut straight apparently, and I couldn't drill the 3/4 inch holes, so I had some 3 by 3/4 inch plates made up with a 3/4 inch hole in the center. So, but yeah, I've got this hanging so I can, you know, I should have enough thread left in all these to drop it down and angle it and make sure my pinion angle is set good. Which I still need to get an angle finder, make sure I'm good there. I am not leveled front to back, but I'm okay if I have a little rake in the frame. I'm old school. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I've got some marks here where the center of my wheel should be. Yeah, I just set this thing up here. I haven't bumped it around or anything yet. But yeah, that's where I'm at as of right now. And as you can tell, we did have quite a bit of moisture in here. Yeah, we got some rain and then almost 80 degrees. And last night, I had to go pick up my daughter from the post-prom party, and it was snowing. So, yeah, who knows what's going on with the weather anywhere. But anyhow, it's about time to go get some dinner. And then maybe I'll put this little update up for you and show you guys the cars from the GSTA show from last weekend, as I haven't done that yet. Anyways, take care, everyone. All right, guys, Dave here. I did make a little progress the other day. Yeah, this suspension is bolted in. holding itself in place with no extra braces. I am going to cut more plates to kind of clean all this stuff up, you know. But for now, it's holding. So I am going to see if I can't get them wheels to fit. I'll have to get a wire wheel and clean up the center hub and clean up the inside of them wheels. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing this thing sitting on 4 wheels just to kind of get a glimpse of it. So check back in later. Alright guys, when you're getting driveline parts, make sure you measure before you order. I didn't order a U-joint, but I looked up parts online and it said my front U-joint should be a 1310. Well, the rear and the center joints on the C10 are 1310s. The front, behind the SM465, is a 1350. And let me get this opened up here. I ordered a Weldon yoke for a 1310, which, you know, it's the right size for the 1310, as it should be, but 1350 up front, so I'm going to have to get a conversion U-joint, and then I do need to try and cut this drive shaft off, and that should be about the right size. I'm hoping that tube is thick enough, but it's a pretty standard Weldon bung, and I need to get rid of the CV on there, and then I'll be able to use the Range Rover drive shaft and the Range Rover rear end back there, so that'll just bolt together, and it's pretty close to the right length. And just a little update here, getting everything ready, hopefully Saturday, changing or pulling the intake off the Trailblazer. Got new intake gaskets, just so, because I can't do any of this work myself right now because of my lifting and twisting restrictions. I'm going to have to guide the wife and kids through it. So the Trailblazer needs an oil pressure sensor, or at least the screen below it. I'm not very good at guiding people to do blind jobs. So yeah, we got to pull the intake off. Hopefully the throttle body gasket doesn't need to be replaced, but I didn't get one of those. But I have the screens. I got a 2-pack of those. The oil pressure sensor itself. The socket to fit that, it's not an actual one, but that's what came up on Harbor Freights. The actual socket should be like rounded out edges to fit over better. And I did find my tools for the fuel lines. I've had this set for years. This I got pretty cheap somewhere else, so one of them should work. And then if we have time, well, this is for tetanus when I get on that, and oil pressure gauge and tubing set. But this box here, is a pair of wheel speed sensors for the ABS system on the Trailblazer. Which, I have the ABS lights, and these are a common problem, and they're fairly cheap. So I'll go ahead and try and replace them, see if I can get rid of some ABS lights on the dash. And, if we get oil pressure, from getting the sensor in there, and ABS lights off, then it might be worth replacing the CV axles, which are bad. And, those are about $120 for the pair, which is not bad. So I might have a tow rig sometime soon. Can't haul a whole lot with it. They got like a 5,000-pound tow capacity. So a trailer and a small car will about do it for that. But I need something to tow with, and that'll do its job. And also, I did find, an aluminum radiator for like $80 on eBay. I have 22.5 inches here. A radiator from a Chevy 2 with the brackets on the side is about 24.5 inches, but they're aluminum brackets, and I'll be able to just bend them out of the way and do that. So yeah, lots of research and parts gathering right now, but life goes on, and eventually my healing will be done, and I might be able to actually do some of this stuff again. So all right, take care for now. All right, hey guys, Dave here. Dave does it. And yeah, out in the garage today, still can't do much. But I did pick up some taller, some 20-inch truck tires. And then I realized that the wheels are only 19. So this coming weekend, I do got a pair of 20-inch wheels lined up with the right 5x120 bolt pattern. So I'll get some bigger tires on the back of this. I believe I showed this off. I may have recorded it last time I was out here, but I got a 1310 drive shaft yoke that'll weld on to that. But then I realized that my yoke on the transmission is for a 1350 U-joint. So I'm going to have to get a crossover U-joint, 1310 to 1350. And that's okay. I am looking to get rid of a few things. I am going to get rid of the original 2627 Model T Roadster pickup body. If anybody wants to make an offer, there's something else that came up I'd like to buy, even though it just got marked as pending today. It was just posted yesterday. But I need to get rid of some stuff to make anything happen, including the bike. 2003 Harley Sportster 883 Hugger. Saddleman seat. I do have the original seat right over in that cupboard. I have the original backrest and luggage rack and the 100th anniversary windshield for that. My table here is emptied off. My wife and daughter did most of the work getting the intake pulled on the Trailblazer and putting a new oil pressure sensor in there. But anyways, now the reason I'm in the garage tonight is got some stuff. I went to the Back to the 50s car show on Sunday, but I got some license plates there, but I got some stickers I need to get on my toolboxes or cabinet. So I got Vice Grip Garage. Thanks, Derek. And another Vice Grip Garage. Thanks, Derek. Don't be a gas hole, Simon Says Garage. Thanks, Simon. I didn't get to meet Simon at the show, but I did get one of his stickers. Then we got Gnarly Speed Shop. Part of my entries for winning their 56 Chevy. So Liz and can't remember his name, but thank you for the sticker. And then we got some Freiburger 1500 horse sticker. General Mayhem. And I call it my Mopar firing order, but even though it's a Chevy as well. A couple of those stickers. And license plates I got a pair of 1975 Illinois plates. I'll probably go up over there somewhere, or maybe over there or there. And then we got a single Arizona plate and a single California plate. So them won't go up today, but I will get some stickers put on somewhere. So, and Hey guys, sorry. Hey guys, Dave here with Dave Does It One, and sitting here in the garage today. Well, can't do much, still in recovery. I haven't even started physical therapy yet, but just wanted to give you guys a little update, you know. So what we got here is the Trailblazer. So, I think the last time I made a video, I talked about, you know, having the wife and kids help me put intake manifold gaskets and oil pressure sender in this thing. That's done. So yeah, we have oil pressure, and we didn't change anything with the water temperature, but the water temperature gauge started working in the car as well when we did that. So having oil pressure and water temperature working, figure it was worth, you know, putting the CV axles in. Well, in the process of putting CV axles in, can't do anything with that hand. But anyways, I don't know if you can see it back there, but them bushings in the upper control arms are shot, and now I'm all full of grease. So anyways, you know, we had this mostly back together with the CV axles, and we're just gonna, you know, maybe kind of drive it in the meantime, you know, and see, you know, what else is going on. You can see there the tie rod boots are shot. But the other problem initially with this was the ABS sensor. You can see I got the cables loose here, but you needed to remove the rotors and everything to get at the ABS sensor. Trying to get an angle on it there. There's a bolt there that holds the sensor into the hub. Well, you can't get at that with the rotor on. And the caliper brackets, the bolts were rusted and so tight in there. The 18 millimeter socket just kind of started rounding the bolts off. I could not get them broke loose for nothing. So what I ended up doing on this side, I believe this is an 11/16. Yeah, 11/16 impact socket. So that's kind of in between 17 and 18. I was able to get the socket pounded on there. My breaker bar here and cheater pipe there. I think I stayed within my 10-pound lifting limits, and I got them broke free on this side. Of course, then it was beating the heck out of the socket with a hammer, trying to get it off of the bolt. But yeah, I got this side done. And just today I got the Amazon dropped off a package with upper control arms for both sides, upper and lower ball joints, tie rod end links, the outer tie rod, and yesterday I got the package with the boots for the steering. So I ordered a ball joint press kit, and that's not going to show up till next Friday. Today is Sunday, but I'm gonna take my time, try and get the other side caught up to this. I might undo the ABS sensor wire on both sides as well. I can't see them right now, but the wheel speed sensor cables are on that table over there, along with oil filters and oil for all 4 daily drivers around here, which I need to get this thing out of the way to be able to get in here and have the wife or kids or brother-in-law or somebody crawl under them to undo drain pans and things like that, because if I get down on this floor, I'm not getting back up. My shoulder and arm cannot handle it yet. No, I'm still having issues. I have to go in for another CT scan to see if they missed anything, because my arm and shoulder have not gotten better. So I'm hoping they do not have to do another surgery, but I'm having a hard time just sitting by idly. I'm one who has to be doing something. So anyways, this is the passenger side of the vehicle here. Take you around and show you the driver's side. I did zip the axle nut back off, pulled the caliper off of this side. Sorry, I got this light in here. Man, I just got a screwdriver wedged in there holding that up, but I mean, upper control arm on this side's a little better, but I'd rather replace both. You know, tie rod on this side's a little better, but the nut stripped out. I don't know if it had been cross-threaded previously. That's why I just went ahead and got a kit with the tie rod ends and, you know, pretty much everything that we need for doing this. So anyways, I'm gonna get this side apart kind of to match the other side, and we'll go from there. You know, and hopefully, I have not even tried the caliper bracket on this side. I'm hoping it comes off with the 18mm socket. Otherwise, I'll just pound that 11/16 on them, and you know, we'll go from there. And I might as well do one more update. I'm not sure if I showed this or not, if I can even get at it right now. You know, tight spaces in here. I've got the drive shaft knocked up, and of course I wiggled it around and this has fallen off. I just had it taped together, you know, to check for length. But of course it twisted. It is not completely clocked right now, but so I need to at some point pull this shaft back out of here, get it clocked right and tacked in place, and then I'll probably take the shaft to somebody to have it welded up. And then once that's welded up, I can actually make a cross member for that carrier bearing. And then back around the other side. Motorcycle in the way. All the way around. Oh, I did get a shrinker and stretcher set. Like they're clearancing out a bunch of stuff at the Harbor Freights. I paid $65.98 for the shrinker and stretcher set, and then a sheet metal bender down here, yeah, $28.98. Figured that was a pretty good deal on those. So grab those. Well, then this here, air ride tank and pump. So there's the pump, tank, says 25. I offered the guy 20 bucks. This was at the Iola swap meet a couple weeks ago in Iola, Wisconsin. And yeah, that's gonna be for controlling the bags in here, which are air spring. So yeah, I have airbags. I have an old drive shaft that's about a 5-inch diameter out of an old Dodge motorhome that I'm gonna be cutting up to use for spacers. Obviously I don't have anything under here. This is sitting all the way down. Another little thing I did was I've got an oil pressure gauge threaded in there, starter in place. You know, I do need to fill this engine up with oil and add a few wires, and I think it's about ready to test fire. Then I'm hoping when I test fire it and I get that shaft done, kind of get the back off the ground and just kind of use the motor and stuff to see if I can break the parking brake free, because they're rusted and I can't spin this rear axle right now. Anyhow, I'm going to get that other side torn apart on the Trailblazer and we'll check back in. Okay boys, I'm not all the way caught up to the other side yet, but I got the caliper bracket off of here. These sides weren't quite as tight, but the bolts were pre-rounded off for me, so I did have to pound the 11/16 socket on there, but they broke loose right away and came out with no problems. But let me tell you, the hardest part of that job is getting that socket pounded back off of these frickin' bolts. I had to thread it back into the caliper bracket, put it in my little bitty vise that does not like to tighten up. That moves all over the place. And I was pounding on that thing for a good 20 minutes. You know, granted, I am limited right now in what I can do, but yeah, that was the worst part of doing anything on this vehicle so far. So anyways, for now I think I'll continue on and get the upper control arm off the ball joint up here. As I've read and seen on forums that the upper ball joint is easier to press out while the bottom is connected, so I'm not going to do anything on the bottom yet, except maybe spray everything a little more. And like I said, I might go ahead and take the ABS sensors off, you know, one nut there, and then unclip the wire there. Everything else is already loose. I just broke my light cover, but that's okay. These things are like $4 and they just get tossed around and beat up. Oh, that's still got plastic on it, but anyways, that's a different story. So all right, back at it. All right, here we go. 26 pounds of new hardware. All right, so we've got left and right upper control arms, lower ball joints with C-clips and grease zerks and cotter pins, and upper ball joints with new retainer pins, clips, grease fittings, tie rod, sway bar end links, the outer tie rod ends with grease zerks and cotter pins, and castle nuts instead of the factory GM lock nuts that don't like to go back on. And then this here is the wheel speed sensors that I had before. I do not have a bit currently the right size to take that retaining bolt out, so they are still on the car over there, you know, up there where you can't see it. Anyhow, ball joint press and some a vacuum pump and manifold gauges for AC work are coming next Friday.